The Legend of Lady Chua Nok. Long ago, in Dian village near Huan Islet in Con Hoa province, there lived an elderly couple who had no children. Their small leaf roof house sat against a rocky hill, and they made a living growing melons. That year, when the melons ripened, they noticed something strange. Every morning, the largest and most beautiful melon was picked, but the thief didn't eat it or take it away. The melon was always left in an open spot, but when lifted, it was already spoiled inside. Curious, the old couple decided to keep watch. On a bright moonlit night, they hid behind some bushes near the field. Close to midnight, a young girl around 13 or 14 suddenly appeared in the middle of the melon patch. She walked softly between the vines, carefully choosing the prettiest melon. After picking it, she turned it over and over in her hands, tossed it gently from one hand to another, and held it lovingly for a long time. At that moment, the old couple rushed out and grabbed her hand. The girl didn't run or seem frightened. She gave the melon back politely and explained that she was an orphan, with no idea where her family came from. The couple felt sorry for her, and since they had always wished for a child, they asked if she would agree to become their adopted daughter. Seeing their kindness, the girl accepted. The next morning, they held a small ceremony before their ancestral altar, officially becoming parents and daughter. From then on, the house was filled with warmth and joy. The couple loved and cared for the girl dearly, and she respected them as her true parents. One day, heavy rain poured down from the mountains, and floodwater rose so high that no one could work. While the couple worried about their crops, the young girl, still innocent and playful, went outside to build a little mountain of stones and decorate it with fallen branches. The couple became upset, thinking she didn't understand their worries, and scolded her. Hurt, the girl slipped away to cry alone at the corner of the house. A while later, unnoticed, she walked toward the seashore. There, floating near the water's edge, was a piece of fragrant agarwood. Nobody knew where it came from. Feeling lonely and abandoned, she stepped onto the drifting wood. Suddenly, something magical happened. Her spirit merged into the agarwood log. The log floated gently for a moment, as if hesitating, then drifted northward with the waves. Meanwhile, her adoptive parents were busy working inside. When they finally called for her, she was nowhere to be found. They searched everywhere, but the floodwaters were vast, and they believed she had slipped and been swept away to sea. Heartbroken, they held a ceremony for her and spent the rest of their lives in quiet sorrow. The agarwood log drifted north for thousands of miles until it finally washed ashore. One morning, local villagers found the beautiful, mysterious wood. They tied ropes around it, but even hundreds of people couldn't pull it ashore. Word spread quickly across the land. A northern prince, traveling far and wide in search of a bride, heard of the strange log and came to see it. Curious, he asked to try pulling it himself. To everyone's shock, the moment he tugged the rope, the log moved easily and slid onto the sand. The villagers agreed the prince should take it to the capital, where everyone could admire it. The prince, feeling a strange connection to the log, happily brought it home. In the capital, crowds gathered daily to see it, but soon people grew bored. Only the prince remained fascinated, for he had witnessed its miracle with his own hands. He ordered the log placed near his palace. On full moon nights, something extraordinary happened. A breathtakingly beautiful girl stepped out from the wood, surrounded by a sweet, enchanting fragrance. Each time the prince approached her, she slipped back into the log. Finally, the prince set a clever trap. When the girl appeared, he gently held her hand while his servants whisked the log away. The girl shyly lowered her head and followed him to meet the king and queen. After hearing the story, the king consulted the royal diviner, who declared it a sign of great blessing. A grand wedding was held. The couple lived happily and soon had a boy and a girl. But happiness did not last. Over time, the prince became unfaithful and careless, spending his days drinking and gambling, ignoring his wife and children. Despite her gentle reminders, he refused to change. Lonely and heartbroken, the young woman longed to leave. One day, while the prince was away, she found the hidden agarwood log. She called her children, whispered a sacred chant, and all three of them merged into the wood. The log rolled out of the palace, fell into the river, and drifted out to sea. A strange wind blew, guiding it southward until it reached Huon Islet again. There, the mother and two children stepped out and returned to her old home. Her adoptive parents had already passed away, and the house stood empty. They cleaned it, set up ancestral altars, and lived peacefully with the local villagers. The land prospered under their presence. Then one clear day, in front of many astonished witnesses, all three of them rose into the sky and disappeared. In the north, the prince returned to find his family gone. The agarwood was missing too. Overcome with regret, he set sail for the south in search of them. But when his ship reached Dian, a violent storm struck. The vessel sank, and he and his men were lost to the sea. When the storm passed, a small rocky mound rose from the spot. Strange markings like carved letters covered its surface, but no one has ever been able to read them. Perhaps they are secrets of heaven, destined to remain hidden from humankind. From that time onward, the mother and her children often appeared in spiritual form near Dai and in the surrounding islets. Fishermen and sailors would offer prayers and incense, asking for her protection. People began calling her Lady Chua Nok, Lady Tien, or Goddess Thien Ya Na in the Cham language. From Hu to Nha Trang, many temples honor her. The Nguyen dynasty even granted her the title, Hong Nhan Pha Te Lin Ung Thuong Dang Than. In Nha Trang stands a tall temple built in her honor, with smaller shrines for the prince, her children, and her adoptive parents. Lessons from the story. Filial love. The elderly couple lived kindly and worked hard. When they adopted the orphan girl, they loved her like their own child. The girl was deeply filial and always respected her parents. Faith and kindness. The old couple's goodness was rewarded. The story reminds us that kindness never goes unnoticed. Goodness brings its own blessings. Cherish what you have. The prince's unfaithfulness cost him his family and happiness. The story teaches us to appreciate what we have before it's too late, because not every mistake can be undone.